What's going on, Roundup homies? Today, Dan Barrero and Chris Haskins are here just to talk about a little bit of real estate. And actually, I wanted to talk about some current events. I'm seeing a lot of people posting about how this new administration is leaning toward get, getting people off of public assistance. I think this is a hot topic, and I want to just see what Dan Barrero thought about it. And I want to see what you think about it too. We're probably going to talk about this again on Sunday, but tonight, I just don't know how I feel about people not being able to get government assistance after a certain amount of years, Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Good, brother. I didn't read that article. I mean, there's other stuff I've been reading more about. Price of lumber started going up already.
Oh, talk about that.
Yeah, but I also want to talk about maybe you could talk to us about what they were just saying. But let's talk about the price of lumber. So I was talking to so I haven't verified this myself, but they were telling me they just paid double for sheetrock, not sheetrock, plywood than they paid the 2 weeks ago. And
Oh boy.
I've been saying this that this fire in California is going to cause construction material to go through the roof. And if Trump goes through with his tariffs, which I'm not too sure he will, I think that's more of a negotiation tactic that he's using. Um, price that's going to just add even more strain to the supply line.
Well, down here, lumber's 2x4 is 385. That ain't bad. It was 277.
The what?
But 2x4 by.
What about plywood? 3/4 inch plywood.
Let's see. I'm in the Home Depot. Let's see. Let me bring it. So many of them. I'm gonna bring it out. You can take a look.
So this is what he was telling me. You know what? I think that's cheap.
Which one are we at? Is it this one? OSB, right? The
23 by, that's not 3/4 inch. That's a cheap one. Scroll down. Well, slow down. Yeah, it's $48. That's a thinner one. Keep going down.
No, that's real wood, man. You're not using that.
Oh, I won't use that compressed bullshit. There you go. $49. That's 49. Yeah, I won't use the compressed plywood. I think people are nuts using compressed plywood.
They built my entire house out of that, Dan.
Yeah, to me that's insanity. That's the way they're building all the houses now, man.
I can't believe it should be illegal, dog. How are you building an entire $1 million house out of sawdust?
Yeah.
So anyway, y'all, materials going up. So what we would use is the sawdust stuff. Let me see. That's 15. No, that's 15 by 30. It's $26. It's still, that ain't super bad.
But listen, I think it is.
It's regular OSB.
What I'm saying is that the reality is that compressed wood, when it gets wet, it's compromised. Once it
will last for what?
Yeah, plywood you got to have water dropping on it forever for it to be compromised.
Yeah, it's just a part of business.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk tonight, but Dan and I are doing our class tomorrow. Listen, January 25th, we're starting at 11 o'clock. So you need to understand how to learn how to hire contractors. What are you going to do when they try to take your money and they require you to give you a large down payment and they said, I need this money to keep going? And we got to make sure you're armed. You're armed with the right tools. And all of the CEO members, you're going to get my construction estimator contract. Boom, 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 boom. Everything you see there is
show parts of the workbook too, man.
Yeah, we're getting that. We coming down. Good Lord.
Guys, this estimator right here is gonna, we're gonna be covering tons of stuff. You could go down to the middle, give them brief. The book has, space for you to write your notes in it. Let's not give it all away, Chris. So
tell me where to go. I don't know.
Yeah, we're good. So guys,
okay.
Only for $29, you could join us tomorrow. We're going to be talking about how to find a contractor, where to look for that specific contractor, what questions you should ask that contractor, what kind of response you should get from in reference to those questions, not only in words but body language, right? We're going to be talking about the scope of work that should be in the contract. We're going to be talking about how to protect your deposit money to make sure you get it all back if they don't show up or they're not doing the job, right? Uh,
Deborah signed up. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah's ready for class tomorrow.
there you
That's
go,
cool.
Deborah. So Deborah, you should have gotten an email from us with the link as well as the
Yep,
book.
she got it. She downloaded it.
Excellent. So you guys, you're going to be talking about getting a release of a release of lien form, making sure that that contractor signs a 1099 so you can write that off on your taxes. We're going to be
Yep.
talking about the importance of the insurances that they should have and how you should be named as additional insured. We're going to be talking about how to protect yourself in every aspect of a contractor. So if you want to learn, how not to get beat, how not to get robbed,
How not to get robbed.
how to find a quality somebody who actually knows what they're doing, you want to
Yeah,
you want to be in tomorrow's class. It's only $29.
that's right. And if you could try to go this on your own. I promise you, these dudes are experts at trying to get money out of people. Would you say, Dan?
Oh, hence the reason why they call contractor.
So look, y'all, tomorrow at we started VIP CEOs 30 minutes early. We're gonna do some mindset training for you and just do a little bit of networking, but don't go in this thing alone. Yeah, don't just take this stuff from us. Just if you want to have a peaceful career or have a peaceful renovation, right? Know exactly what you're doing when you hire these guys, and you can register right in the video description below the contractor training, right down. And we'll see you in the morning, y'all.
Yeah, you go to danielbarrerojr.com. There's
Oh,
still
yes,
time
right.
to get your ticket right there, danielbarrerojr.com. There's still time to get your ticket. It's insanity if you don't get it, if it's only 29. Chris, imagine if we had something like this for $29. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars we could have saved ourselves?
Yeah, Dan's in the hundreds. I'm still in the tens of thousands, over time that we have lost. I'll never forget, Dan, the first time I did this, I thought the contractor shows up and he tells you, you just give him the money and he just makes the property, brings it back to life. And I think a lot of people think that, Dan. And I'm not going to even be mad or judgmental because it is the truth, because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, no. One of the things I find as I've learned how to do this process, I've learned so much from contractors on how to do the job right, right? Where they'll say, listen, you know what? Yeah, we could design it this way, but maybe you may want to do it this way. I just did a job last year and the kitchen came out so much nicer if we put this other 2-inch spacer here and we get a 24-inch cabinet instead of a 30, instead of the 26-inch, and then you could have more counter space. Like when they giving me ideas like this, I know I found the right person, right?
Right.
They're looking
They
on how
care.
to better that particular project, right?
They
Based
care,
on
man.
experience, right?
They care.
So, yeah. So we're going to be talking about how to find that right contractor or that right electrician or that right plumber or that right painter or carpenter or even cleaning.
Hard to find these guys.
Yeah.
Hard to find these guys.
Anyone here
Well,
want to ask
Dan,
a question before we go? Or
I'm not gonna take calls, but they can type a question in there.
how
We'll
many
do that Sunday.
people we have on here, Chris?
We got 20 people. So every Sunday, Dan and I go live. We talk about real estate investing tips and strategies. So y'all make sure you stay tuned for that, and we will take phone calls on Sunday for that.
Yep.
But then I'm seeing people posting about getting rid of or putting a time frame on people that have Section 8 vouchers, and I just don't know. I think
Explain that. What do you mean by putting a time frame on it?
so you can have a voucher for X amount of years, and after that, you're done. No more voucher. Like you just can't. You should get your life together.
I got to be honest with you, man. That's a double-edged sword. I've felt that way in some points. It's like people in public housing in the city of New York, right? When I see generations people of living in the same apartment, I don't think them public housing is helping, right? It's like it's like, okay, my kids, for instance, do I continue to give my kids money even after college? Am I helping them or am I enabling them?
Hmm.
Right? Versus what I have done is when you have 3 months from the time that you graduate and you're off my financial tip from here to kingdom come forever. You can't come home for money for a house, a car, to get married, for nothing, because you're starting off your adult life better than everyone else, right? You don't have any student debt. You have an education. So the point is, how long is reasonable to have somebody on social services? Because if you need help, I personally think the government should help you. But what are you doing to help yourself in the interim? Is the
I
question.
got that. I got that. Well, I just want to play both sides of this thing. What about the people that didn't have to pay for employees for 200 years? Like, what about those people getting government assistance for hundreds of years? And then another person had to work for free for
Give me an
200
example.
years,
You got to give me
generation.
an example. Give me an example.
I'm talking about slavery, Dan. I'm talking about people that work for hundreds of years for free. My mind is thinking to myself, like, what did they get? What? How long will it take them
Yeah,
to
but see, is
pull
welfare.
themselves up by their
Let me
bootstraps?
ask you this, Chris: is welfare helping them or enabling them? Now, if you told me we're going to give free education to every person of who was suffered upon either because of the generations before them, I'm in agreement with that, because now you're teaching people how to fish. You're not giving them the fish, right?
But see, here's the problem, though, Dan. This is what my mind. This is where I'm split. This is where I'm split. Deborah says 3 years. Why isn't there some type of program to help people wean themselves off the system at the same time that they're on the system? I just can't even understand. I
Well,
need
there
you to
are
help me with that.
programs like that, and I can't, I can't say about now, but I remember um, when I was in college, there was a governor in New Jersey. His name was Governor Kane, and I thought he had the best idea. Now I was in college, guys, and this is when Reagan cut all financial aid. I almost went into ROTC, the military, so that I could get money to pay college. And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'll figure this shit out another way. Right? And I did. I had 3 jobs during college, right? And making 3.35 an hour. I want everyone to know that was minimum
Oh
wage.
Lord.
So, case in point, Governor Kane, I never forget, he came out with this idea, and it got knocked down by the state Supreme Court of New Jersey, saying it was unconstitutional because you can't make people do this. And his idea was, listen, if you're on welfare, we're going to continue to let you be on welfare. If you're on Section 8, we're going to continue to let you be on Section 8. But you're going to either have to do one of two things. You're going to have to go to school, maintain a C average, and we'll give you 5 years of free tuition, and we'll pay for all your expenses.
Wow.
Go to college, or you could go to a trade school,
That is unbelievable.
right? And we're still going to keep you on welfare. But after 5 years, you're out, right? Now, he said to the moms, single moms, and if you're a single mom, we will provide daycare service for you,
That's pretty cool.
right? So at that point, I'm good with that. I don't care if my tax dollars are going to that, because you're giving them what they need, the support that they need, and you're also giving them the education they need, whether it be through a trade school or a college, whatever that is, and you're still giving them the welfare so they don't have to worry about how they're going to pay their rent or feed their kids. But after 5 years, if you can't figure that shit out, there's nothing anybody could possibly do for you.
Hmm. Well, once again, man, I'm on both sides. So here's the thing, man. I have rented, Dan. I don't know if I told you, I've rented to generations of families that are on the system. I've done it. I've seen the mom pass the voucher down to the daughter. I've done that stuff. So I'm like I've been the recipient of that. Did I think it was something that was new to me? Yes. I'm like, how is this even possible? But when I look at certain, I'm just trying to imagine. I looked up here earlier, like how the federal housing budget is like 76 billion. It's like 1% of our deficit, right? 1%. And I hear people say, we need to cut the money out. Then I think about all the billions that are going to Ukraine, just all the money being spent
You forget
there,
that. Besides the billions going to Ukraine, what about the 49 billion that Elon Musk gets from the government?
all this stuff, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's
It's just so much waste, and they're trying to take it from what's easiest.
that's my point. There's all this. Does it even warrant a conversation? It's such a
It
small thing
does
that has
because it does because I think in situations like this, it brings up debate that is healthy, right? And hopefully, we could find another resolution to generate that generational dependency on the government. Case in point, look at New York City housing, right? I grew up across the street from the projects, and I still have friends that now their kids are in those apartments. So it was their parents, now my friends,
generational,
now their kids, right? That's three generations.
generational.
So my argument is, wait a minute, public housing is supposed to be for people who actually need it, getting kicked out of the private sector, or people that fell on hard times or got sick or got disabled, right? That's what public housing is supposed to be. So how is it fair to the people that actually need it now, right? When you've been there for three generations, if you can't figure this shit out in three generations, there's nothing. We're hurting you by continuing to give you money rather than helping you.
You crazy.
Wait?
See, I
What's crazy about it? Tell me
no,
what.
I'm just listening to you. I'm listening to no, no, no. I'm just saying your delivery. Yeah, on one hand, Dan, I'm agreeing, dog, and I mean I am agreeing with that. But on one hand, on the other hand, yes, I'm agreeing with that. On the other hand, I'm thinking to myself, who are you to tell me how long it's going to take me to figure it out, right? How not you personally, but like how do
I
people
hear
know?
you, and I've heard that argument. My argument is you're 100% right. I shouldn't. Then don't ask me to pay for it. I'm the guy who's paying the tax dollars for them to give you the money. So you're right. I shouldn't tell you how long it should take you to figure it out, but neither should you impose yourself on society for that amount of time.
I got it.
Did you see where I'm
It's a
coming from?
so it's a
Like,
tough one, Dan.
I personally believe anybody that needs help falls on bad times, especially if you've been a taxpayer. You should get all the help you need: medical, educational, housing, food, your utility bills, everything. But it should not be unlimited, and only if you're willing to help yourself. Now, of course, there's those exceptions that either they're disabled or they're sick. Those people
Yeah,
need to be helped, no matter what our economy is like. It's not that they can't. That's not that they don't want to help themselves. They're just enabled to, right? Because a light shit happens in life to some people,
things happen, man. Deborah,
right?
I'm sorry we can't take calls. I don't have the system hooked up to take calls. But I just thought it was a good debate. I think this needs to be debated, man, because I look at my people like one community needs it. I don't know, Dad. In my mind, I'm like, this community worked for free for all those years. What did they really get from the government? What is it that
No,
they're
I and
getting?
I hear you, and hence I don't have a problem. It's like the American Indians. I don't know if this lost. I know when I was in college, I knew this girl who was going to college for absolutely free because she was an American Indian in the state of New York. She was going to SUNY College. I was 100% with it. Hell yeah, she should get it for free. Every American Indian should get free college education in the United States, right? You want to help somebody that's poor, educate this because you can't steal
I
one.
agree.
You
I'm
can't
not.
steal it once it's here, brother. You can't steal
That's
it once it's here.
that's why I'm saying. Why are we just throwing money at this? And I don't want to talk all night. I just feel like, dude, all the powers that be are just talking about money. Like, why would they? As you said,
You
they're
know what
helping them.
obsessed me with this is you talking to me about you need to cut down on the stuff that's only eating up 1% of the deficit, but you want to increase the deficit by giving corporate America another tax break. Yeah, that shit don't make sense to me. So you
Yeah,
want to give the ones that don't need it the most a bigger incentive to cheat on their taxes, right? Because now you're saying, hey, you know what? We may even take away the IRS and take away more of their powers, right? Now, the IRS ain't going after little people. They're going after the big people, right? So you want to take away, which is going to increase the deficit because less taxes collected, right? But you want to take it away from the people that need it the most. Instead of empowering the people that need it the most, so they no longer need it.
That's what one thing I get worried about, Dan, with this country. Why aren't there any type of programs that we can plug into? Well, maybe they are. I just don't know them. Like, I feel like there's so much stuff that's not available to us. Like you just said, education for people on public housing. Every person should have. I feel like every person should be in some type of financial class other than just paying your rent. Paying your rent is nothing but a Band-Aid every month. Bam, 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 until you're just bleeding out.
Man, I know this woman. Her name is Miss Business. She's on IG. She's incredible. She just wrote this book. I did a few lives with her. This is her book right here.
Buy your money. I love it.
Guys, she was a school teacher, and she started teaching her kids about financial education out of the curriculum, totally out of the curriculum. She even wrote this out for me, guys. Look at this. She signed it and sent me this, right?
I love it.
Because I am 100%. Now she works for an organization that literally goes around the country trying to enforce legislation that forces every high school to give at least 2 classes of financial literacy to every high school student before they graduate. That's
better have something.
Got to be a prerequisite, right? And I was talking to her about this curriculum, which they've developed, and they're willing to go into every high school and train the teachers on how to teach this curriculum. They've got the material, they've got the books, and they've got the training for this curriculum, right? Which it's funded already. They'll give it to these schools, right? And you know who's fighting them the most, man? You know what she was a New York City teacher. You know, she told me it's the hardest place to get this curriculum put into. She was telling me in New York City, New York State, because of the unions.
The teacher union is they're like the mob.
Yeah.
If they don't want something, man, they will vote it out, won't they?
Right. So what's so bad about making sure that every high school student understands what a CD is, understands how to write a check, understands the importance of a money market, understands what a bond is and what a dividend is, what a stock is, what an option is. They even teach in crypto. And then what impressed me the most is they're teaching these kids, like, listen, what do you want to major in? If they say teacher, they says, well, then why are you spending $75,000 a year in this college when you could go to this college? Because the pay is the same no matter what college you come out of. And when you graduate, this is going to be your loan versus this is going to be your loan.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How much are you going to make, and how long is it going to? They're looking at how long it should take you to pay back that loan so that you're not overextended. I mean, this is the stuff. Like this woman here, she's unbelievable. So
I got to pick that up.
Why are we not? And guys, if you want the books I recommend, it's on my IG. If you go to books on my IG profile, it's all on there with the links where you could get them. Very, very minimal. So, I personally think the biggest problem that we have in our society is that we have too many kids not graduating. I mean, think about it, Chris. I don't know about you, but speaking for myself, I wasn't prepared for college education.
Oh, shit. Me neither.
2, I realized that I was so far behind in financial education from my white counterparts. Now, that's not my white counterparts' fault. That's just my fault. The household I grew up in, we didn't know that. We were so worried about paying the rent and getting food. We didn't have time to think about saving money and a high interest rate.
Well, that goes back to my conversation with the people that are on Section 8 with generation. They don't have time to worry about, they don't even have time to discuss this stuff.
And hence the reason why I feel we need to give these people the education they need, and while they're educating, we need to give them everything they need, making sure that their rent is paid, there's food on the table, that they have their transportation money, they have money for clothing, right? Give them all the resources that they need. to fulfill that cost of education, whether it be trade
Got it.
school, whether it be college, whatever that is. But it can't be unlimited.
Got it. Well, once again, all right. Well, we're gonna listen, y'all. Dan and I, we just wanted to let you guys give you a reminder that tomorrow, Saturday, January 15th, we're having our contractor mastery training. So the link's right below, or you can go to danielbarrerojr.com. We're gonna give you step-by-step guide
That's right.
on
Step by
how
step
to
guide.
hire.
Tell them exactly, right? We're going to be talking about how to find that contractor, where to look for that contractor, how to negotiate with that contractor, the questions you should be asking that contractor, the response you should be getting. We're going to be talking about the scope of work that should be in the contract. You should bring up that contract because we even given that out to the CEO package people. We're going to be talking about the release of lien. We're going to be talking about what kind of insurance they should have, the importance of naming you as additional insured, how to protect your deposit money. The biggest thing we find all the time, right, Chris, is people saying, "Oh, they stole my deposit. I'm having a hard time getting them back," right, Chris? Well, we're going to talk about how you ain't going to have to worry about that no more.
Yep. So the construction, all of my CEOs are going to get my construction estimator. All you got to do is plug it in. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to go over all these bullets tomorrow, y'all. Just plug it in, plug and play. That's why I love. Dan, my mentor used to say, all I do is stand on the shoulders of giants. When you stand on the shoulders of giants, you can see way farther, y'all. Right? So that's all I'm doing. I got this stuff from other people that have helped me. So it allows me to see way over all the trees and
Yeah,
all
but
the.
Chris, how much of it is it that you got from people that helped you, as much as you learning from your major mistakes?
Yeah. So people they pour in, then you try it. You say, "Oh, okay, this didn't work. I need to add that in." Just like your lease, boom, add it in. Learn here, boom, add it in, and it changes. Every house is different. Dan. I think people need to know this is difficult, and every one of these joints is different. There is no cookie cutter construction estimator. It's just not going to happen. Sometimes you got to move a wall. Sometimes you got to move receptacles and outlets. Sometimes you got to raise a ceiling. Sometimes you got to level a floor. I mean, it could be a million different things.
And hence the reason is the bigger the job, the more we put in for what we call the I don't knows. Because you don't know what's going to come up behind that wall. Chris had a problem where you opened up the wall and found all termite damage. Remember that, Chris?
I don't know what that was, man. I had over 2 feet of termite poop. Was that poop or was it?
Yeah, it's poop. Yeah, yeah. It turns into grilly, like little grills. Like you'd be like, damn, those little things, shit, those big things. Like you'd be like, right? Yeah. So we're going to be talking about also. When I do a job, depending on the size of the job, I'm opening up walls. If it's a full gut where I'm going to bring it down to the brick, there's nothing for me to guess because I know I'm ripping everything out to the brick, right? Now, if it's like I'm going to be just doing the back side of the building, I'm going to add another 15% for what I call I don't knows, right? I don't know what they're going to find when they open up that wall, right? And then we're going to have a change work order, right? And then I'm going to add another 5, depending on the size of the job, between another 5 and 10% for what I call the might as well. Well, you know what? I'm doing this. I might as well now do that, right?
That's right.
So, you have to know your numbers, and we're going to discuss, how do you negotiate those numbers and make sure that's all in the contract, right?
Better be in there. How do you get them to end how do you get your contractors to be on time? Dan, I remember my first contract. I didn't even have an end date on it. I just was like, this is what we doing. Okay, cool. Thanks. Let's get rolling.
Yeah, we have, and versus now we have start dates and end dates. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that too. What determines the end date?
People
Start
think that the contract is
like on, kind of in writing, but like that's hard. That's a hard date. The end date is what is
it's important. It's paramount. It's just paramount. All right, y'all. Links below. We look forward to hanging out with you, learn from us. And Dan, thank you for your time, buddy.
Thank you, brother. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Take care, guys.
Yeah, talk to you soon. Peace.